Hey mathematics learners, welcome to Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. In today's video tutorial, guys, we're going to be handling or dealing or tackling question 4.2. And question 4.2 is under the umbrella of data handling. So we're going to be interpreting this pie chart that is given to us in Annexure B. So if you don't have this annexure, please make sure that you've downloaded it. I've inserted the link down in the description box, right? Question 4.2, guys, like I mentioned, it deals with data handling. We are going to be calculating the mean. We are going to be determining the interquartile range, right? We are going to be calculating as a percentage probability. So do you see what I meant about probability? They love throwing it in there. Okay, it's just an extra 3 marks that you guys can score. Okay, and I remember I had a question from one of my learners that is forever commenting on the video tutorials, and he or she basically mentioned that they don't really understand the concept of your interquartile range. Okay, so I hope that, I think it's Sakile, yes, it's Sakile, right, when it comes to interquartile range. So I hope that now this video tutorial is gonna make it easier, because I'll try and basically explain in detail what exactly we are doing when we are calculating the interquartile range. Okay, but I hope that Sakile, you watched the video tutorial that I shared with you. So guys, it's very important that you engage, that you comment, so that I can also just refer back to you as well in the other in the video tutorials, just to ensure that you are understanding what's happening. Again, guys, I appreciate the support. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you turn on your post notifications so that you guys notified every single time I upload a new video tutorial, guys. And also, please guys, don't forget to share this video tutorials with your friends, okay? Because guys, we all really want to pass mathematics. Okay, so please make sure that you're sharing these video tutorials with your friends. So without any further ado, guys, let's get started with today's video tutorial. So like I mentioned, we're going to be tackling question 4.2. Question 4.2 has data handling, right? We're going to be calculating the median. We're going to be calculating the interquartile range. We are using the interquartile range actually to get quartile 3. We're going to be doing some inflation calculations. We're going to be doing some ratios, right? And we're also going to be calculating the percentage, right? When it comes to, we're going to calculate probability as a percentage. Okay, so let's have a look at question 4.2. The pie chart on Annexure B compares the 5 best-selling vehicles in South Africa, America, and Canada for 2021. So let's have a look at this Annexure B that we are being told about. So Annexure B basically gives the comparison of the 5 best-selling vehicles in South Africa, in America, and in Canada for 2021. Okay, so the first block basically tells us about the total number of vehicles or that was sold in South Africa, right, in 2021. We see that, okay, that white region basically tells us about the Isuzu D-Max. Okay, then we see the gray region tells us about the Toyota RAV4s, right? The striped regions that are going vertically tells us about your VW Polo Vivo, right? Your dots tells us about the Ford Rangers, and then your horizontal stripes tells us about your VW Polo. Okay, then we've got how much vehicles were sold in America. Okay, in this case, the top vehicles in America is your Ford F-Series, your Chevy Silverado, your Honda CR-V, your Ram pickup, and your Toyota RAV4. Those are the top or the best-selling vehicles in America. Then the best-selling vehicles in Canada, we've got the Ford F-Series, right? We've got the Toyota RAV4, right? We've got the Chevy Silverado, we've got the Ram pickup, and you've got the GMC Sierra. Okay. Okay, so these are basically the top selling vehicles for all of these countries. We're going to be basically using this information to help us answer the questions that are given to us here. Okay, so question 4.2.1, obviously we know that we need to use an extra B to answer the questions that follow. Question 4.2.1, write down in words the total number of vehicles sold in America. So we're going to be focusing on the total number of vehicles that are sold in America. Okay, so our eyes should be here. So what is the total number of vehicles that was sold in America? We see here, if you look at the bottom, we are told that the total number of vehicles that was sold in America is 2,584,176. Okay, so we already know how many vehicles were sold in total, but we need to write down that value in words. Okay, we need to write down that value in words. So we're going to write 2,584,176 in words. Okay, so I've basically written this value here on the right so that we can basically be able to transfer these numbers into words. Okay, 2 million. Né? Then 584,000. Okay, what's left? 106. Okay, so we've basically written, okay, the total number of vehicles sold in America in words. Okay, so I've just put this part here just so that we have a place of reference so that we don't make any mistakes. All right, let's have a look at the next question. Question 4.2.2. It says express as a ratio in the form of something to something to something. The number of Toyota RAV4s sold in America, in Canada, and in South Africa, respectively. Okay, so here's that word here. That word respectively, they are telling you that it needs to be in that exact order, right? So you need to basically express the number of Toyota RAV4s that are sold in America. Start with America, then go to Canada, then go to South Africa, right? As a ratio. Okay, all right. So they haven't said that you need to basically write it in simplified form. They haven't specified that. So you don't have to worry about being 1:to something, right? You just need to express then the number of Toyota RAV4s that are sold in America, then Canada, then South Africa. Okay, in that order. That respectively means that it needs to be in that order. Okay, so let's basically write that down. Okay, remember they said sold in America. I'm just writing this so we don't make mistakes. In America, then you want to write, get the total in Canada, then the total in South Africa. Okay, and we want to basically find out what is the total number of RAV4s that were sold. Okay, so let us see. In South Africa, okay, we are basically told that the number of Toyota RAV4s that was sold, okay, the key is that gray area there, okay? So it is 36,085. That's South Africa, yeah? But remember, it needs to be in order. In America, the total number of Toyota RAV4s that were sold there is 407,739. And in Canada, the total Toyota RAV4s that were sold there is 61,934. Okay, so from here, just analyzing this, which country sold the highest number of Toyota RAV4s, we can in the year of 2021, we can see it's America. Okay, but guys, please remember, they told us the order in which we need to basically write this. So we're going to start off with America with 407,739. Okay, then we do Canada, which is 61,934. Then we do South Africa, which is 36,085. Okay, so we need to write it in that order. All right, so we've basically expressed the number of Toyota RAV4s that were sold in these countries in ratio form. Please remember, they didn't say that we need to basically simplify this. We just had to express it. Okay, and that is that. Question 4.2.2, 4.2.3. Write down the median number of the best-selling vehicles in South Africa. Okay. So, guys, when we now working with things like calculating your interquartile range, calculating your median, calculating your Q1, for us to be able to basically work with data, right? I always say that you need to ensure that now your data is arranged in ascending order from lowest to the highest, right? And then once your data is arranged in ascending order, we will be able to determine the median. We will be able to determine quartile one. We will be able to determine quartile three. Remember, the median is the same as us saying quartile two. Okay, so in this case, because we want to basically determine the median number of the best-selling vehicles in South Africa, we're obviously going to be working with these figures that are given to us here. We want to arrange these figures in ascending order, and then from there we will be able to basically determine what is the median, what is the middle value, okay, when it comes to, or the value that's in the middle, okay, when it comes to the top or the best or the five best selling vehicles. Okay, so let's arrange this in ascending order. So if we arrange this in ascending order, and our lowest value is 16,000. Then the second value, we can see that, okay, it's 18,235. Then the third one is going to be that 19,077. Fourth value is 21,887. Fifth value is 36,085 and 85. Okay, so we're gonna basically write that in that order, and then from there we are going to find what the middle value is. Which value is in the middle? Okay, so let's do that quickly. So I'm going to arrange these values in ascending order quickly. Okay, so we've arranged our data in ascending order, and remember, for us to find the median is the value in the middle, meaning that we should have equal numbers on the right, equal numbers on the left. So from here, very simple, we can already see that this 19,077 is the value that is in the middle, because in this case, we've got how many values on the right? 2. How many values on the left? 2. So therefore, this one is our Q2. This value is our median value. So this is our Q2. We can also say this is our median because Q2 is the median. Okay, the question asked us to basically determine the median number of best-selling vehicles in South Africa. So the median number of best-selling vehicles in South Africa, guys, it didn't say what are those vehicles. They said what is the median number. So they just want the number, né? Right? So in this case, the median number of best-selling vehicles is, okay, of best-selling vehicles is 19,077. Okay, very important, guys, that you highlight what the question is asking. What is the question actually asking from you? Highlight that, okay, so that you don't have people saying things like the median number of best-selling vehicles in South Africa is the Ford Ranger. Yeah, man. So please make sure that you highlight what the question was. It wants the number, not the name. Okay, then we are done. Let's have a look at question 4.2.4. Determine the number of Ford F-Series vehicles sold in Canada. Right. So if we basically have a look here, okay, and we basically check out Canada, right? What are we noticing? Okay, we already know that, okay, then the Ford F-Series, right, is basically given by this key here, okay? However, we're not told how many vehicles or Ford F series vehicles were sold, okay? So how can we basically determine that value, all right? In this case, we already know that we're already given the total number of vehicles that were sold. We are given the total, okay? Meaning that total was 357,243. That is the total. So how can we find that missing value? We're going to call that X, okay? We want to find what is x. We want to find what is x. What is that value there? Okay, how can we find it? If you add up all these values, you take that x plus 51,684 plus 53,757 plus 61,934 plus 73,467. If you add up all those values, they should give you that total. Then from there, we are just going to solve for our unknown value x. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to set up the equation in that way. We say x plus that value plus that value plus that value plus that value equated to the total number of vehicles sold. And then we are going to solve for x by collecting our like terms, using our additive inverse, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's quickly do that. Okay, this is question 4.2.4, right? So like I mentioned, I'm going to start with your f. You can even say that unknown, it can be x, it can be f, it can be any alphabet, right? So let's actually make it f, because we're trying to find out what our Ford series is equal to. So I'm just going to make it f, okay, just for interest sakes. Okay, so we want to find out what is that f there. What is the Ford series vehicles? How many Ford series vehicles were sold? Okay, so I'm going to say f plus 51 plus. Okay, so please just follow with me. Okay, so if you add up all those values together, you should get the total vehicles sold of 357,243. All right, so all that we need to do now, we just want to solve for what? Our f here, right? We want to determine what that f is, right? That is the value that we're trying to determine. So you can just add up all these values together. So if you add them together, what do you get? You'll get 240,842. Okay, so in this case, f plus 240. Why am I putting rands there? Yeah, we love money, guys. Yeah, we calculating. This is not the price, but how many cars were sold. Okay, so please just correct that, please. There, I know someone was already squinting. Okay, right? So if you actually add up all those values, you'll get 240,842 is equal to the total number of cars that were sold. And then, okay, to get rid of this value on this side, you just do the inverse of addition. So you subtract 240,842. If you're subtracting on that side, you also need to subtract on this side. All right. Therefore, our f is equal to 357,243 minus 240,042. Find then that the number Ford F series that was sold in Canada were equal to 116,401. Okay, and we basically done. Okay, let's have a look at the next question. 4.2.5 says determine the number. Okay, the interquartile range for the top 10 vehicles sold in South Africa is 7,669, and the value of quartile 1 is equal to 11,408. Okay, so if you don't know what's going on here, guys, please make sure that you watch this video tutorial where I basically did an analysis of a box and whisker plot, and I showed you guys what are the quartiles, what is happening with the quartiles, how does the quartiles divide our data, right? Your quartiles basically divide your data into 4 equal parts, right? But I'm not going to dive deep into that in this video tutorial. Please make sure that you have a look at this video tutorial where I basically explain that in detail. So now in this question, we just want to determine, right, quartile 3. Okay, but for us to be able to determine quartile 3, we already given what quartile 1 is. We already given that the interquartile range is 7,669. Then we're going to use the formula that we already know when it comes to the interquartile range to help us basically determine what the value of quartile 3. Okay, So in this case, guys, what is the interquartile range, right? Just a simpler way to basically think about it. We are just basically calculating the range for our quartiles, right? Remember, when we're calculating range, guys, your range is equal to your maximum value minus your minimum value. When we're calculating range is equal to what? Your maximum value minus minimum. However, in this case, we are not calculating range, but we are calculating the interquartile range. Okay. So the maximum minus the minimum value for your quartiles, right? So it's going to be Q3 minus Q1, right? Here we've got your Q2, here you've got your Q3, here you've got your Q1, here you'd have your minimum value, here you'd have your maximum value, right? So in this case, to get the interquartile range, you're just basically determining what the range for your quartiles. So it's the maximum in this case, right? Because you know that your Q3 basically represents 75% of your data minus your Q1, which represents your 25% of your data. Okay, so in this case, for us to get our interquartile range, you basically just take your Q3 and you minus your Q1. Okay, what is the range that you're looking at in the quartiles? Okay, so I hope that makes sense, Sakile, right? Okay, so we're gonna take your interquartile range. Interquartile range is equal to your Q3 minus your Q1, right? Therefore, what information were we given? We were told here that the interquartile range for the top 10 vehicles sold is 7,669. So in this case, we're already given this value here for the IQR, okay? Interquartile range can also be written as IQR. It's Q3 minus Q1. And we're given that value as 7,669. Okay, we're given that. What else are we given, right? We are told that, and the value of quartile 1, this is Q1, is equal to 11,408. Okay, right? So we don't know what Q3 is, but we know that Q1 is 11,408. So how are we going to solve for our Q3? That is what we want. So if you want to basically find what Q3 is, we want to isolate it. We want this value to be alone on the right-hand side. And then how do we do that? We are basically going to do the inverse of subtraction. Okay, so what is the inverse of subtraction? We are going to add. Okay, we are going to plus 11,408. If you plus on the right hand side, you also need to plus on the left hand side. Okay, therefore our Q3 is equal to 19,077. Okay, so that is how you need to go about solving for your Q3. Okay, so in this case, guys, what is very important that you guys should see, it's very important to highlight. Do you see that? What is the information that is given to you? How is that information relevant? Okay, substitute it, because if you highlight, then it pops out of your page and you don't make any unnecessary mistakes. Okay, let's have a look at question 4.2.6.
That is it, guys, and I'll see you guys on my next upload, Distance Learning with Lee, where I make learning mathematics super easy. Bye.